All right, good evening. So, my scripture reading for this evening will be Job chapter 41, verse 11. Now, this is my favorite verse actually in the entire Bible, and I will go into why. And as it says, this is God talking to Job and also to us, as he has.
Verse one more time.
It's 41:11 of Job. So he's also talking to us because it's in the Bible and it's for us to read many thousands of years later. So, who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. And so I don't know if this irks you as much as it does me, but I really get perturbed, if I can use that word, when people say, and especially when they're in the church and say that God is unfair. Now, even if it comes down to a particular doctrine that may not be true or may be true, to say God is unfair would be, maybe my definition of blasphemy is wrong, but to me that sounds like blasphemy because God says He is good, He is perfect. So to say He is unfair would be to say that in some way He is not perfect and He is not completely good, as He says He is. Now, what this says is that God is in charge. There is no authority above God. God is the supreme authority. Therefore, God has the right to do whatever He wants, whenever He wants, with whatever He wants, however He wants. And He tells Job this, that I own everything under heaven. And He even owns heaven. So, and we know this from Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. When you create something, you own it. God owns everything. Everything in the universe, living or not. And so, summing up, God has the right. Because He made everything, He owns everything, He has the right to do whatever He wants. And so who are we to tell Him otherwise? Like Job. Job, eventually his patience ran out, thanks to, his friends coming and accusing him of sin. Eventually he got to the point where he said, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. God, why are you doing this to me? And God, of course, if you read Job, the interesting fact is God never explains why what happened to Job happened to Job. That, through the whole instance of Satan coming to him and saying, well, I can make Job turn his back on you. And God gives Satan permission to screw up Job's life. And God doesn't explain that to Job at all. Why? Because He doesn't have to. It's pretty simple. And if I were God, I would just go with this verse and not go with all the other stuff that God says. But, God being God again can do what He wants, and He decides to explain it in all these ways, how wonderful and majestic and powerful He is. And if you read chapter 41, He talks about Leviathan. Now, I don't know what Leviathan was, whether it was a dinosaur or whatever kind of animal, but He talks about how fierce this animal is and how powerful and how nobody can arouse it, nobody can stand against it. Yet, in 10, at the end of 10, well, actually, I'll read all of 41:10. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? So therefore, God's saying, I am all powerful. I am in control. I am the governing authority. No one, not even you, Job, when you were at your one point pure righteousness, can tell me what to do. So, that's why I love this verse so much. It sums up God's authority so well. And it also just, it shows me, why it just eats away at me when people say God is unfair at any point in time, because it's just not true. God made everything, therefore God decides what's right, what's not. He makes the rules. And to say he's unfair, well, that's saying you want God to be a certain way. But God isn't. That's not the God of the Bible. The God of the Bible is the way he is. He says he is. And we are supposed to be the way he wants us to be. So, thank you.